What's up? What's up, witches? How we doing? How we doing? I'm here. I'm here. What's up? How we doing? How we doing? How we doing? Come on in the building. I'm just dropping a little note for us. Hey, Sharonda. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. How we doing? How we doing? You know the drill. Drop your business name and info down in the chat when you come in the room. Let us know who you are and what you do. All my Witchpreneurs in the building. Let us know what you do so we can follow you, shout you out. I like to make sure I follow back everybody who shouts out their business. So shout out your business so I can follow you back. All right, let me pin that. Hey, Amanda. Good morning. Good morning, witches. So, as you know, it is not 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time because I'm going to keep it real with you. I absolutely love the rain. I think it's because I'm a fire sign and I'm a fire sign in Western astrology. I'm a water sign in Vedic astrology. And as much as I don't want to admit it, a lot of times Vedic resonates in a more like true way. Like I'm definitely a Leo in my heart, like big lion energy, or at least that's like what I want to be. But I cannot deny that I'm incredibly Cancerian. I'm super nurturing, super motherly, and can be really watery, even when I don't want to be. So, yeah, I don't know if I'm a fire sign and the rain like cools me down, or if I'm a water sign and the rain feels like really comfortable and watery, wet weather makes me feel really comfortable. But either way, I just could not move this morning. I have like this really comfy chair right by my bed. I have this little like reading nook that I created a couple years ago with the like most awesomest comfy chair with an ottoman and this lovely little fleece blanket. And that's where I like to like sometimes do my meditations in the morning, read my Bible, get my little morning word on. And I was just sitting there this morning and I was like, yeah, I'm going to stay here until I've had my total full. I'm not going to rush myself. So I just sat there for a while and, let myself really just connect and enjoy my time there. So that was really beautiful. And so I didn't rush. So thank you all for those of you that were waiting. I appreciate you. I am streaming to YouTube today. This is new. What's up, YouTube? Hey, YouTube is in the building. Hey, what's up, Witchy Homestead? You also love the rain? Yeah, it is. It makes me sleep. Like I sleep better, like all that good stuff. It's really, really awesome. Let me see if I can pin a comment for the YouTube folks too. So if you're tuning in from YouTube on YouTube and you are also a witchpreneur, if you have a spiritual business, drop your spiritual business down below. In the chat. And tell us how to find you so we can follow everybody, keep in touch with each other, and grow our network of witchpreneurs, which is so, so important. Super important that you have a connection, a community, a support system. Entrepreneurship is horrifying. It's incredibly intensive. It is something that folks that are not entrepreneurial that are not running businesses just truly don't understand. And so that is, why it's really, really important that you have people around you who get it. And actually, today's topic that Spirit told us to talk about is conquer. Okay. And one of the ways in which you can conquer your fears and conquer your challenges is by having people around you that can support you, that can encourage you, that can just relate to what you're going through. Because when you're trying to do something and no one around you gets it, honestly, it can be hard to keep going. It can be really hard to overcome the difficult times. There's no one there that you can look to sort of say like, okay, you know what? You're working your ass off too, or you're making certain sacrifices too. You get it. You understand it. If you can do it, maybe I can do it as well. So that's why I always ask you guys to drop your business information. Let me follow you. Let's make sure we keep in touch. Let everybody else who's in the community who's watching follow you and keep in touch. What's up, Witch Lantern? Make sure to drop your business info so we know who you are and we can follow you, because networking is about way more than just like, shaking hands and giving out your cards. It's about way more than, pitching your services to people and finding clients. It is very much about finding friends, finding community, people who get it, people who get you. So very, very important. So that's why I have you guys drop your information down below. All right. So for my YouTube folks, I have been going live on Instagram for the last 2 months now, I think, or maybe even almost 3 months, every Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. Hey, Richie, for Tuesday tips for Witchpreneurs. This is my morning live. I'm live for about an hour and I talk about a different topic to help you in your entrepreneurial journeys. And we are driven in our topics, not by me, but by spirit. At the end of every live, I pull cards for us because I'm a spiritual entrepreneur, right? So I started out as a tarot reader, making teas and candles and offering tarot readings on YouTube back during the pandemic. And that has grown now into my physical location, BronxWitch HeadQuarters, which is the only co-working space in all of New York City that caters to spiritual practitioners, and my coaching platform where I teach baby witches to become better witches. And I do that through classes on magic as well as spiritual entrepreneurship. And in order to kind of keep those worlds clear, both for the audience and for myself, during the break that I was on a 30-day break from social media right after my birthday. During that 30 days, I realized that I wanted to be really clear with everybody and anybody that was following me about what I would be talking about, what I would be teaching about. So I decided to kind of separate out my social media. And Instagram became the place where I focus just on spiritual entrepreneurship. I post reels with educational information. I have a virtual community called The Bunker, which is inside my online portal. I have several on-demand classes. And I decided to just, really focus on all of that through Instagram, and to keep YouTube really reserved for my magic and spiritual information and magical information and our coven community, which is on Discord. So I have these two worlds right now. I have my magical witches and I have my entrepreneurial witches, because I realize that both groups really need different things from me, and they're interested in different types of content and they're interested in different types of information. So to make sure that folks are getting what they want and not really anything that they don't, I decided to separate those out. And that's going to continue to be the case. But what I realized was that, there are 20,000 folks over on YouTube, and I know for a fact that a lot of them are also entrepreneurial. And they may not necessarily know about the information that I'm sharing on Instagram. They might not know about the bunker. They might not know about the free webinars and the on-demand classes that I have that could help them in their journey. So I'm probably going to be broadcasting my Tuesday tips to YouTube moving forward, just so folks on YouTube know what's happening on Instagram and know that I am providing these resources and information, education, and community, so that they know where to find that type of information from me, especially if they didn't even know, that I am offering that. So shout out to YouTube. That's why you're getting this live stream today. So get excited. You'll probably be included in these live streams going forward. Definitely follow me on Instagram at BronxWitch, just in case. But I will probably be sharing these with you guys over in the YouTube world as well. Typically live every Tuesday at 10 a.m., except for today when the rain kept me in my comfy chair for a little longer than usual. But Tuesday Tips is scheduled for 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time every Tuesday. So definitely tap in with us. Okay, so Edgar says, the only thing I don't like about the Better Witch podcast is there are not enough episodes. I'm obsessed. Thank you. I'm so excited. The Better Witch podcast is coming back for the 4th season. I literally just scheduled my first recording session with Ben Stimson, the author of Ancestral Whispers. So we're going to be talking about how to be a better ancestral witch for those of you interested in ancestral veneration and your ancestral journeys. Ben and I are going to be sitting together to chat about that. And I have a few other folks already in the works as well. In January, live episodes, live recordings will be here on YouTube starting in January. And then the edited episodes will be on all major podcast platforms shortly after that. So thank you for the love. Thank you for the love. So while folks are coming in the building and dropping their business info down below, I want to let you all know about a free webinar that I'm going to be offering. This webinar might sound really familiar because I've offered it before. This is my Power of the Pivot webinar. This one is specifically for my witchpreneurs that are maybe struggling a bit in their spiritual businesses, right? You are doing tarot readings, you are a Reiki healer, you're making spiritual candles or crystal jewelry, and you're not quite seeing the revenue, the reach, the engagement, the following, the sales that you are looking for, and that you feel reflect all of the work and effort that you're putting into it. This webinar really comes deeply from my heart because I've been in this place more than once where I'm doing all the things, right? This webinar is really not for my half-assing, which is no offense. If you haven't yet gotten to the position where you're taking your business seriously, this webinar isn't really for you. This webinar really is for those of you that are taking your business seriously. You are marketing yourself as best you can. You are, you have a menu of offerings. You are really trying to make this the thing that replaces your 9 to 5. You're getting education, you're taking classes, you're networking with people, you've filed your LLC, you've got a business bank account, you are taking yourself seriously and you're doing all of the things that you're learning about. And yet somehow you are not seeing the revenue and the reach that you need in order to be able to replace your 9 to 5 with your spiritual business. And you're trying to figure out why that is. And you might be on the verge of giving up. Because we spiritual folks, we tend to read into things. We tend to see everything as a sign. And you might be feeling like your business not taking off is a sign that you're on the wrong path or you're doing the wrong thing. And that could not be farther from the truth. Could not be farther from the truth. Inspiration is spirit-led. Your desire to read for people, to heal people, to cast magic for people, that is directly from the divine. And you are here to do that. And with everything that's going on in the world, I really shouldn't have to explain all the ways in which the world needs you, like more than ever. Okay. And you do not, like, please do not give up on yourself. Please do not give up on your business. I know how difficult, I know firsthand, you guys, how difficult it is to want to be there for people and literally cannot because you have to work your 9 to 5 job. I know how difficult it is to have to bankroll your spiritual business with your regular job, right? And that might make you really feel like I can't do both. And obviously, if my job is paying my bills, then that has to be my priority. And you might decide to put your spiritual business on the side, on hold, or give up on it entirely. And I just beg of you, before you do that, please take this webinar. Please take this webinar. Okay. It is completely free. It's going down next week on the 18th, I think at 10 p.m. It's on demand. So if you can't tune in at the exact time, as long as you're registered, you get the replay. All you need to do is comment pivot down below or in the comments if you're watching this after, and you can register. It takes 2 seconds. Just make sure that you register so you have access to it, so that when you have the time and the space, you can watch it. It was so incredible last time because, like, the aha moments and the collective sighs of relief that happened throughout the webinar was great. At the end, we had a Q&A, and the Witchpreneurs in the room were able to come on camera and ask questions about their specific businesses. And I was able to give them guidance, and they hadn't considered some options and alternatives that really can put you in a much, much better position than you are right now. So if you're in that position, Elise says, you literally walked in at the right time. What's up, Elise? Drop your business info and name down below so everyone can follow you and I can shout you out. But before you give up, please, please, please just take this webinar. It is so easy to do. It's easy to sign up. It is completely free. You have access to it forever. So if you're not available literally at that moment, you can watch the replay, and it will completely change the direction of your business. Okay. I promise you that. So sign up for the webinar. I will see you all next week for that. Let's see who's in the building. Witch Lantern is in the building. My website is witchlantern.com, and I am at Witch Lantern on Insta. I do tarot readings and things in jars. I love that. I love that. Any other witchpreneurs in the room? Let me shout you out. Let's make sure we're following each other. What do you do? What's your business name? How can we follow you? There was a comment on YouTube from the Witchy Homestead who said, currently fighting polarization so I can step into my power to start and fully commit to my spiritual business, but it's so hard. I'm happy to see you live on this topic. Witchy Homestead, I have another free webinar called The 7 Pillars of a Profitable Spiritual Business. It went live last week. I taught it live last week, but the replay is still available. And I recommend that you take that webinar. Power of the Pivot, like I said, is for witchpreneurs that have already started their businesses and are struggling to keep it going, struggling to justify it. But for you, I have a free webinar for setting up a really solid foundation to your spiritual business. So chances are, if you are struggling to fully commit to it and you're finding it so hard, it's because nobody's ever given you a blueprint for, or like a checklist for what things actually need to be in place for your business to operate the way that it needs to. So that webinar is called 7 Pillars of a Profitable Spiritual Business. And you can take that by, if you comment pillars, I will send you the link to that. So I taught it live a couple weeks ago, but the replay is still available. So if you'd like to take that webinar, which I highly recommend for someone in your position, then just comment pillars, Pillars, and I'll get the link over to you, okay? All right, so Elisa's in the building. Elisa's business is Saints, Sinners, and Sage, which I love that business name. I'm an Obia and Hoodoo practitioner with 30 plus years of experience. I sell spiritual products such as incense, candles, and sprays, and I'm also a tarot oracle reader for the past 5.5 years. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, Witch Lantern said, I watched the 7 Pillars and it was great. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. Oh, Witchy Homestead. I'm sorry. You're on YouTube. Ah. Okay. Let's see. How do I get this to you? This is what I want you to do, Witchy Homestead, because I don't think it'll send it to you on YouTube. You have to be on Insta for that. So if you comment anywhere, like literally anywhere on my Instagram page, Pillars, I will be able to send it to you. You can find me on Insta. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Technology helps, but it doesn't do everything just yet. So, dang, Allie, you're on it. I appreciate you so much. I'm definitely going to look into it. You're so right. Love it, love it, love it. Great. I'm glad to help. Glad to help. Okay, Witch Lantern. I would like to watch the Pillars one, please. I thought you said you watched the 7 Pillars. You mean Power of the Pivot, the webinar that I am teaching once again next week. I be raining webinars like I'm at the strip club, y'all. Okay. So if you meant pivot, just comment pivot, Power of the Pivot. That's the next one. I've taught this one before, but I'm teaching it again because I know it is so needed. I know that so many spiritual entrepreneurs are just not where they want to be. You don't have enough clients, you don't have enough customers to make the full transition, but at the same time, you know that it's your calling and you don't want to give it up. And also, even if you have no desire to replace your 9 to 5 with it, you want to continue doing this work, but you're not being like rewarded. You're not being compensated appropriately. You're not being paid. You're giving readings for free. You're doing everything donation based. You're selling your products at really affordable rates. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with wanting to make sure that you are accessible to the communities that you care about the most. But there's a way to do that so that you are also compensated. Because there's definitely a misconception, a huge misconception, that spiritual work is somehow charity. I am here to tell you without a shadow of a doubt that it is not, and it never has been. The spiritual workers of old, of the olden days, whatever olden days you want to go back to, whatever culture, whatever place or time in history you want to go back to, spiritual workers were always compensated. And in some cases, they were abundantly compensated. They just weren't paid necessarily in dollars and coins because that's new. But the idea that the people in the village, the people in the town, the people in the city that folks were going to for their spiritual healing, for their herbal healing, for their magical work, for their ability to divine the future, foretell what was going to happen to them, under no fucking circumstances were those people ever working for free. Never, not nary ever at any point in time. So please do not get it twisted in this capitalistic Christian ideological society that as a spiritual worker, you are supposed to be some type of a martyr who does everything for free and donation based. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Okay? Please understand that that misconception is a narrative that is pushed by people with a fuck ton of money. A fuck ton of money. The church, the Roman Catholic Church, the Church of England. These are two of some of the wealthiest institutions in the world. I think the Church of England is the largest landowner in the entire world, tax free, might I add. Do not let these people lie to you, okay? Do not let them lie to you, okay? The same people who would try to convince you that spiritual work should be some type of charitable outreach are requiring 10% tithes from every person who walked through their doors and are buying jets with cash. Yes, yes. Spiritual work is work. Okay. See you later, V. You said, I've been really busy, but I saw your clip saying you have to become that person. Yes, absolutely. You have to become that person. I think one of the biggest blockages for spiritual entrepreneurs is the entrepreneur part. Okay. And I can completely relate. I will always remember this day. I never intended to be an entrepreneur, especially as it related to my spiritual work. I opened HQ, my co-working office space for spiritual practitioners here in the Bronx. I opened my whole business, moved in, grand opening, signs outside, flyers printed, all of that, LLC. And I still was not calling myself an entrepreneur. I had so much like aversion to that word. And it was actually my Reiki teacher. Shout out to Dr. Tom Capshew. My Reiki teacher was the first person to call me an entrepreneur, like to my face. He was at the shop teaching classes. Before he retired, he was coming up to New York from Virginia and teaching Reiki classes at HQ. And he saw the way I worked. He saw how motivated I was, how driven I was, how serious I took myself and my business. And he said, wow, you are a great Reiki healer, but you're also a great entrepreneur. And when he said that, I like laughed because I was like, ew, cringe. I was like, okay, if you say so. Because I was carrying all of this like trauma around the concept. I had all this like ick with me about the idea of being an entrepreneur because I was like, I can't be a tarot reader and an energy healer and an herbalist and also an entrepreneur. Like, ew, gross. Those two things don't go together. I had to heal the wound that was causing me to reject the entrepreneurial side of what I do. Okay. I had to heal that. I had to step into that fully. And a lot of you, spiritual entrepreneurs, I see y'all coming in the building. Hey, Tiki Customs. Hey, Tasha. Make sure to drop your business name and info down below, okay? So I can shout you out and we can make sure that everybody is following you back, all right? So I had to heal that wound. And I had to realize that somebody else had made me feel like making money, being prosperous, being successful was somehow not related to my spiritual work. And I had to realize that I came to Earth during this era for a reason. You are here on Earth right now in your body for a reason. You came here to heal. You came here to cast magic. You came here to divine in this world. Okay? If you wanted to be alive during a time where people paid for tarot readings with coconuts and palm oil, you would have been alive during that time. You're not alive during that time. A past you probably was, but you're not there right now. You're alive during this time in 2024. If you're in America or you're in the West, you're in an economic system that is a capitalist system. The way that we pay for things is with dollars and and coins. Those dollars and coins mean abso-fucking-lutely nothing. Nothing. They are mere physical representations of energy, and they are simply what we have chosen to exchange with each other for services and products. That's it. That's it. You have come to earth during a time where you have to buy your house instead of building it from scratch. You have come to earth during a time where you have to pay for your medical expenses. You have come to earth during a time where those dollars and coins allow you a vehicle, allow you freedom, allow you education. Remove your judgment from that and heal that wound. And this is perfectly in alignment with our message for the day, which is conquer. Okay. Spirit told us that we need to talk about conquering our challenges to emotional and financial freedom. And this is a big one. I talk about this first in my 7 Pillars webinar as being the foundational pillar of a profitable spiritual business. You are never going to make enough money in your spiritual business to keep doing the work if there's a part of you that believes that something is wrong with money. You are never going to make enough money. Like, just imagine money, right? Because y'all are spiritual, so y'all get this, right? Most of you are animists in the building, even if you don't know what that concept is. Most of you are animists. What that means is you recognize that every single thing has an energy, a living energy. Whether it's a person, whether it's a plant, whether it's an object, that there's a living energy inside of it. Money is no different. It's a physical item that represents a living energy. So think of money as an individual. When I was doing my money healing work, I gave my money a name. I gave him an image. Okay, wealth and money are 2 different energies. I work with both of them. Wealth is feminine, money is masculine. And he was like, let me ask you something, sis. If you and I are at a club and I'm on the other side of the room and you're telling everybody that you want me to come over to you, but then every time you get a chance, every time anybody asks you about me, you talking shit about me. Money is dirty. Money is evil. Not everything is about money. Money's not that important. Money shouldn't be your focus. Money shouldn't be your motivator. Why in the hell am I going to come across the club and talk to you? You're claiming that you want me. You're claiming that you want me to come over and holler at you. You're claiming that you want me to come to you with ease and be present in your life. And yet at the same time, you have nothing nice to say about me. The fuck? Where they do that at? That's not going to work. Okay? That's not going to work. And that reminds me kind of like, you remember like back in the day when you were on the playground and like, little boys would hit the girls that they liked? That's what it sounds like. It's kind of childish. It's like you're like, oh, I actually really love money, but like, I'm going to hit you and act like I don't like you. Because I'm not mature enough. I'm not strong enough. I'm not confident enough to just say, I like you. And that's what a lot of us are doing. A lot of us are very much unhealed. A lot of us are still in an immature state when it comes to being entrepreneurs and being the business part of spiritual business owners. We've got the spiritual part down for the most part. But we shy away from getting business education. We shy away from taking ourselves seriously as entrepreneurs. We shy away from even calling ourselves entrepreneurs because we haven't grown up in that regard. We haven't leveled up in that regard. Yes, makes sense. Witchy Homestead says, I'm speaking to your soul. Does that resonate with the witches in the room? Do you feel like you are carrying some of that wound, some of that trauma? Do you also react the way I first reacted the first time Dr. Capshu called me an entrepreneur, and I was like, oh, I don't know. I'm not, I'm not that, I mean, I just, I had to confront that. I had to do some serious money healing. I had to do some serious money rituals and sit and talk to money and be like, wait a minute, what am I doing? I'm working so hard and I'm not seeing you. What's wrong? And money was like, but you don't even like me though, is what you're telling everybody. You don't even think it's okay to like me. So why am I coming over there? And I had to confront that and figure out what that was all about and realize that growing up in a religious household, and not just in a religious household, some of you didn't grow up in religious households, but our country, if you're in America, if you're in the West, our society has been hugely impacted by religious ideology, in particular Christian ideology. And not just Christian ideology, but certain versions of Christian ideology, versions of it that really serve certain people over others. So I had posted a couple weeks ago in response to somebody who on one of my posts said, something like, money, you're motivated by money. There's nothing spiritual about that. And I had to clap back and let them know, oh, there is everything spiritual about that, honey. Everything spiritual about that. Both money and wealth are spirits. Today, we represent that spirit with bills and coins. My ancestors in West Africa would have represented that spirit with cowrie shells and palm oil. In other parts of time, that would have been rice, that would have been tea, that would have been silks and certain fabrics, that would have been resins. Okay. When the little baby Jesus was born, he was given gold and frankincense and myrrh. These things were equal because that was customary at the time. Right? So please, 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 if we are going to conquer and overcome the challenges on the path to emotional and financial freedom, let that be the very first thing that you do. For those of you who don't know, I have a private virtual group for Witchpreneurs called The Bunker. Yes. Okay. The Bunker is our stronghold. It is where I am sharing resources and recommendations. There's 90 witches in there right now, and we are connecting with each other. We're exchanging services with each other. There are witches in there that are SEO and marketing experts. There are bookkeepers and accountants. There are actually several bookkeepers up in there. There are website designers. There are trademark attorneys. So there are spiritual entrepreneurs, but also different business professionals that are in the bunker. And we meet every week for something I call the weekly refuel session. It happens Friday night at 10 p.m. so that we can refuel. We take a moment to celebrate each other. We celebrate our wins. We talk about what we accomplished for the week. I share some type of education. We spend about 20 minutes learning a new topic. And then, we go off into our weekends ready to start the week more knowledgeable, more connected, more celebrated than we were the week before. So in our weekly refuel session this week, Friday at 10 p.m., I am going to be sharing some of the money rituals, meditations, and work that I did to help me healing my money wound. And let me just say this. Healing is like a spiral type of a process. It's not a one and done type of thing. So even though I have made great progress in this area, I am still healing my money wounds. I am still accepting my value and still demanding that my value be recognized. But I'm going to be talking about my money rituals, and our weekly refill session 2 weeks ago, I talked about my pricing formula. Okay, because 9 times out of 10, spiritual practitioners underprice everything. We undervalue everything, either because we're afraid to charge the true value of stuff. We don't have business background, so we don't know how to calculate things like cost of goods and labor costs, etc., in order to come up with accurate pricing. A lot of times, spiritual practitioners tend to ask the question of like, what will people pay for this? And then they base their numbers on what they think people will pay. Drop an emoji if that's you. If your tarot readings are based on what you see other people charging and what you think people will pay, as opposed to calculating it based on what is necessary for the value of what you bring to people's lives being taken into account, right? So spiritual practitioners, we tend to price ourselves like very sloppily. We don't have a formula to go by. So I have a pricing formula that I use that has really helped me and my clients. And so I talked about that. When you're in the bunker, there is a section of the discussion feed that is all the replays of all of our weekly refuel sessions and replays of all of the Tuesday tips. So it's a lot easier to find everything than it is like on my Instagram, trying to scroll through. So definitely, if you're not a part of the bunker, consider joining us. You could comment bunker and I'll send you the link to that. You can just go to the link in my bio. You get your first 7 days for free. So you can come up in there and see how you feel, see if you like everybody, and decide if it's the right space for you. But you can go back and watch my pricing formula weekly refuel session where I broke that down. But for this week, on Friday, I'm going to be talking about the magical stuff because we have a section in the bunker where we talk about practical things like grants and loan funding and finding services to get your business started, all that good stuff. But we also have a section of the feed on the magical stuff because we're spiritual business owners. So we should be in our cauldrons. We should be casting protection over our businesses. We should be casting money spells. We should be calling in clients, glamour spells, attraction spells, all of that. We should be using our magic on our business just as much as we use it in our business. We should be divining for ourselves, asking our spirit guides for guidance on what to do next, what the next step should be. Is this a good idea? Should I write that book? What do you think? Etc. What's the energy around that? So sometimes we use our magic in our business to service our clients, but we don't use it on our business. So I wanted to make sure we had a section dedicated to the magical work that we're doing in our businesses that have been successful for us. So in this week's refuel session, I'm going to be talking about how I worked on my money wound in order to overcome the obstacles in my path on the way to emotional and financial freedom. And the things I'm currently doing, because like I said, the healing doesn't end. Okay. So the message from Spirit last week was to talk about conquering, having the strength to overcome the challenges on your path to emotional and financial freedom, to keep going and to be unstoppable. Now, I don't know about you guys, and I pray that this is received well. There is something really powerful when you know that the work that you are doing is in alignment with your purpose. I'm going to keep it 100. I'm going to keep it Gucci. I'm going to keep it a buck with all of y'all right now. Some of you are attempting to do spiritual work because you think it is an easy way to make money and not have to go to work. Some of you are attempting to do spiritual work because you just don't like your job. You don't want to go to work for somebody. You don't want to have to clock in. You don't want to be told when you can go on vacation. You want the freedom that you believe comes with entrepreneurship. Let me be really clear with you, because I would be doing a disservice to you if I let you continue to go further down this path without somebody giving you the real deal. If work is something that you have an aversion to, if work is something that you're not trying to do not try to start a business. Do not try to start a business. You will never work harder in your life. And it can be years before you begin to see the financial, emotional, time, freedom that you are looking for. I'm going to keep it so real with you. So real with you. Now, does that mean that you can't do spiritual work? No. But building a business around something is the most amount of labor a person could do in this world, probably other than actually going into labor. You are literally birthing a creation that did not previously exist, and then raising it to the point where it can financially support you and maybe some other people. That is a huge undertaking. Okay? I do not judge you. I am not calling you out for fear of competition. Honey, let me tell you, ain't nobody trying to open a co-working space for spiritual practitioners. I am the only person doing that. You are not competition to me. I am not trying to scare you out of spiritual business because I don't want there to be a bunch of people in spiritual business. I want every single block. I want every single neighborhood. I want every single apartment building. I want every single cul-de-sac. I want every single everywhere to have working readers, working healers, working casters. I want everybody to be able to support themselves with their spiritual work. I have no desire to scare you off of that path for my own benefit. In fact, because my business is a co-working space for spiritual practitioners, I want as many people to be spiritual practitioners and take their business seriously as possible, because you might be a customer from my space. Okay? You might need a place to work out of, to service your customers, to make your products, to film your content. And that's what my business does. That's what we offer. So I would never deter somebody from opening a spiritual practice. I'm just telling you what the real deal is. Okay? Building a business is incredibly laborious. And as CC7 is saying over here on YouTube, it is not easy. It is a lot of work, and it requires a lot of studying. Most of us were not born with business degrees in our pockets. Most of us do not come from families where entrepreneurship is prevalent. Most of us do not have a rich uncle with a business or parents that open their own place in order to teach us how to do these things properly. That means it is on you to educate yourself. And I'm so glad, CC7, that you would point out the studying aspect, because that is going to be another really powerful way that you overcome the challenges on your path to emotional and financial freedom. Education. Most of the things that block you as you move along your journey as a spiritual business owner actually come from you not knowing enough. So you're stopped because you don't know how to get around something. Don't laugh at me, y'all. Don't laugh at me because some of you probably know this. By now, I feel like there's a lot of free education on business that really erupted during COVID because people finally, had the time to consider doing that for themselves. So a lot of free information has come out about business, but I opened my business during COVID. So I didn't have necessarily that benefit. And so I really thought that I had to hire an attorney in order to file my LLC. Don't laugh at me. Don't laugh at me. I genuinely did not know that I could file my LLC myself. I thought I had no choice but to hire an attorney or to go through a company like LegalZoom, which is like, $700 for an LLC package or something like that. And because I started my business before I really intended to start my business, I didn't have a bunch of savings. So every single dime counted. And I was like, damn, like, I don't have the money for that. So for quite a while, I did not have an LLC simply because I didn't know that I could file that shit myself in an afternoon. I had no idea. So I had this challenge sitting in the road. I had this roadblock blocking me from moving forward, legitimizing my business, allowing me to get insurance in my business name, do all the things that I needed to do in order to protect my business. And it was all because I just didn't have the knowledge. I just didn't have the knowledge. Thankfully, I realized that I needed to get some type of mentorship. And it was a mentor on starting a business that was like, oh no, you could do that yourself. And I was like, wait, I'm sorry, what? They were like, yeah, don't pay anybody. What do you mean? Just go do it yourself. And I said, what? And the beautiful thing was the mentor mentioned that to me. They told me, what the Department of State was where I needed to do that. But they didn't tell me anything else. They said, go figure it out. And I was like, oh, what? So I did. So I spent the rest of the afternoon on YouTube University. Praise God, right? We have these resources at our fingertips. If you have a phone in your pocket, you should have no questions about anything. I hopped on YouTube University and I got me a little associate's degree in how to file an LLC. Okay. I watched several videos because I was like, I don't know if they give you your money back if you fuck it up. And I don't know, these are government documents. Let me make sure I feel like I really know. But there are videos right on YouTube that literally go line by line what to put on every single section of the form, which is one page, by the way. I was like, what? I'm over here trying to figure stuff out. And the education is right there. But a lot of us, and this is another thing that is going to help you conquer your challenges, besides education and realizing that the blockages that are in your path are not real blockages. They appear to be blockages because you don't know how to get over them. But knowledge is power. And a lot of times, the blockage that is in the way only requires more education. It doesn't require more money. It might not even require necessarily much time. I filled out my form in 20 minutes. And I took my time because I was like, I'm not trying to fuck this up. But I probably could have filled it out faster than that. It's one page. So education is huge in helping you to overcome the challenges on your way to emotional and financial freedom as an entrepreneur. A lot of the things that are holding you back are only holding you back because you don't know how to get over them. And you're hoping that you will just figure it out. And I say all of this again with no judgment because I was in the same place. I was over here just trying to figure getting my LLC out. I wasn't seeking education. I was looking for what I thought I needed. I was looking for LLC attorneys that were in my price range instead of just literally Googling, how do I file my LLC myself? Because sometimes you don't know what you don't know. I didn't know that was an option. So I wasn't looking for how to do it. I love you too. Okay. So education is the other thing. And then this whole figuring it out business. This whole figuring it out business. I have come to realize that this compulsion to try to figure everything out on our own is a trauma response. And to me, it makes perfect sense that it shows up so frequently with us spiritual practitioners. Many of us are dealing with the trauma of not having enough support throughout our lives. And it was our spiritual practices and spirituality that helped us to provide for ourselves, to care for ourselves. But we haven't yet addressed, in many cases, that trauma. So now, as an adult trying to build a business, you are defaulting to your trauma response. You are defaulting to figuring it out on your own. Because that's always what you had to do. There was no one there willing to support you, willing to help you, or able to support you, able to help you. So you had to figure things out for yourself. But you don't have to do it that way anymore. That was definitely and still is something that I am very much working through. My mother, my adopted mother, wonderful woman, love her very much, but very much emotionally unavailable for a whole slew of circumstances. So I don't judge her. But the fact of the matter is, she was emotionally unavailable. Whenever I was going through something, I had to figure it out on my own. I had to figure out how to get over it. My first breakup, losing friends at school, stepping into my sexuality, coming out as a bisexual, all of the challenges that I dealt with, I had to deal with myself. She was not someone I could go and hug and cry to and talk it out with. Educationally, I was on my own. She came from a very different generation and a very different background. And I got pushed into all of these, high level academic programs because of my abilities as a kid. But that meant that after the 5th grade, I had no one at home who could help me with my homework. By 10 years old, I had surpassed what my mom could do. So I came home at night and I just had to figure stuff out. My classmates, many of them, they could go home and sit down with their parents and get help with their math, get help with their reading homework assignments. I did not have that. When I went away to the mountain school, a beautiful program, I spent a semester up in the mountains of Vermont. When I went away to college my first year out in Jersey, when I went to law school in DC, whenever I moved around the country, I could not turn to my mom for any help. She had never really been anywhere. New York and South Carolina, where she was from. Any other place she'd ever been, she'd pretty much just gone to the hotel and back. She could not really help me with moving to another city, getting acclimated to different people, anything like that. Hey, Shannon. If you want to get the link to the webinar, my dear, you're going to have to drop the word pivot on Instagram. I'm sorry. I decided to broadcast to YouTube, but I didn't really think about like how that instruction doesn't help anybody on YouTube. So I definitely want you at the webinar. So just make sure to give a follow over on Instagram and drop the word pivot in the comments on anywhere, any post, anywhere, and you'll get the link to it. Okay. You can also go to the link in my bio. It should be there too. Okay. Witchy Homestead says, I see so much of myself in this. My parents were hoarders living in a disassociated state. I needed this talk today. I'm glad that it's helping. And that's why you are the way that you are. Our traumas are why we are spiritual healers, leaders, product makers, why we want to help people, because we needed help. We didn't have that. So now we want to help others. But it also means that we probably don't know what it's like to get help from others. Okay, we don't know what it's like. Oh, you know what? Sorry, something just occurred to me. Let me help my YouTube folks out with, because I realize on YouTube, see, it's crazy. The two platforms are interestingly different. And what you can do on one, you can't do on the other. So on Instagram, I can't do this. I have to say, drop a comment because I can't put a link. But check it out, YouTube. I just dropped the link to the webinar. Yay! I totally forgot that. Oh, thank you for the love, by the way. I'm seeing all the loves and all that good stuff. Don't hesitate to drop a super chat, by the way, too. Your girl ain't ever too good to work for tips. I was a bartender for 15 years, okay? Collecting tips is in my DNA, and I thoroughly enjoy the experience. So if this is resonating with you and you want to show some love, don't hesitate to hit the super chat button. Okay. I just dropped the link to the Power of the Pivot webinar. All right. In YouTube. On Instagram, comment pivot. On YouTube, click the link. There we go. All right. Everybody got that? Everybody got that? So yes. Not asking for help, thinking that you have to figure it all out on your own. Not looking for support because you just assume that it won't be there. You assume that you have to do a bunch in exchange for it. My clients are always really blown away by how much help I give them when they come on board with me. You don't have to do anything but be you to deserve help and support. You don't have to do anything but be you. I want you to really, really sit with that. There is nothing you have to do, give, make, create in order to deserve help and support. You are deserving as you are. You are complete as you exist. You are a gift and a blessing as you exist. You just have to make the conscious decision to seek it and receive it when it's being given to you. And it definitely is a trauma response to not. Okay? So the message from Spirit about what to talk to today was conquer. What's up, Dr. India? What's up, Tamar? What's up, Cobtus? Hey, Cole Short, Bernadette, everybody coming in the building. Drop your business name if you're a spiritual entrepreneur, you're a healer, you're a reader, you're a product maker. Drop your business name and info down below so we can make sure that everybody's following each other and I shout you out. So I just talked about several ways to overcome the challenges that are standing in the way, standing in between you and emotional and financial freedom. We talked, first of all, about healing your money wound. That you are never going to make money in your spiritual business if you are walking around with the misconception that money is evil, that it's corrupt, that there's something wrong with it. If you cannot overcome that, if you genuinely are incapable of rendering your services or giving your products to the people who need it and charging money for it, start a nonprofit. Start a nonprofit. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. That is beautiful. But if you are going to build a business around your spiritual gifts, you have to heal your money wound. Okay, that was one. Two was education. Many of the obstacles that are making your road to a profitable spiritual business difficult can be overcome with knowledge. Just like me thinking I had to hire an attorney in order to file my LLC, I was stuck in place because I simply didn't have the knowledge that there was another way to do that I could get around that in a different way. And there are probably things in your business right now that you would like to do for your business to move you further along that you don't know how to do because you haven't gotten the education on it. And if you take yourself seriously, it is your responsibility to get that education. It is 2024. There are no questions that cannot be answered. Get on your phone, get on your computer, and seek the answers. Find people who have them. Take their classes, take their courses, take their webinars, get mentors, get coaches, get the education that you need. Okay? And addressing the trauma response of figuring everything out yourself. You do not have to do that. Okay? LeBron James, Serena Williams, Tiger Woods, they all have coaches. Every single one of them. It doesn't matter how great you are, how smart you are. It is not some type of a knock to how wonderful and capable you are to ask for help, to ask for support, to do things with a team. You don't get brownie points from anybody for doing it by yourself at all. In fact, the opposite. You probably take longer and waste money and energy trying to figure it out. Recognize that your tendency to default to trying to figure everything out is a trauma response to not having any support when you were younger, always having to figure it out. We are not those little kids anymore. We are grown-up witches now. Witch Lantern says, I've started outsourcing my reels to a local teenager. I love that for you. I love that for you. My online portal administrator writes all of our emails, not my business emails, but all of our emails for HQ. Because I needed support. I needed help. Me sitting here trying to figure it out, me spending hours upon hours upon hours every week writing emails instead of doing my work, not advantageous at all. And at the end of the week, I wrote 20 emails. Great, congratulations. Who cares? What did I get out of that except for hours less time to actually help somebody? Now, when it comes to the magical component, okay, the money magic that I was talking about, healing my relationship with money, developing a better relationship with money. There were certain rituals, certain spiritual baths, and things that I have done over the last couple of years that I'm still doing in order to have a healthier relationship with money, both to understand it and allow myself to receive it in exchange for the things that I do, and also to be good with it when I get it, so that it doesn't just fly right out of my hands, so that I'm using it wisely. Money has a very attractive nature. Where it is, it wants to attract more, and it really loves being circulated. It loves being circulated. Okay, money is kind of a pass around hoe. Okay, money is kind of community cooch. Okay, money likes to be handed around. It likes to go around and around like a snowball. It builds on itself when you do that. So learning that about money, learning how to be better with it, to use it more wisely, to invest wisely, to put it into smart areas where that money is going to grow and come back, where it's going to create something rather than destroy something, right? We have enough people in this world that are putting their money into the destruction, literally, of our humankind. We need more people like us that are putting money into things that are going to fortify humankind. Okay, why do the bad guys get to be rich? I posted this like a week ago. Why do the bad guys get to be rich? Why is it that so much money gets to go into the things that are tearing us apart as people, as a society, as an earth? We need the healers to get rich. We need the tarot readers to have money. We need the Reiki healers to have successful businesses so that you can get out of the capitalist rat race. We need that. Okay, so in the bunker, my private virtual community for witchpreneurs, our stronghold, every week we have something called the weekly refuel session, where we celebrate each other's wins and I give some information or some education on a particular topic. We meet Friday, 10 p.m. Eastern. The replay is available inside of the bunker. There's a whole playlist with all of the weekly refuels so you can binge watch them. And I would love to see you all there. You can become a member of the bunker completely for free. You get 7 days for free. So come on in, check out the resources. There's grants specifically for spiritual entrepreneurs that I've been dropping in there. There are recommended books, there are recommended teachers, and there's a whole community of witchpreneurs and business professionals. I love the backgrounds that the witchpreneurs in that group have. We have SEO and marketing experts. We have several bookkeepers. We have financial analysts. We have people that are coming out of web design or graphic design, people who have a lot of skills in addition to being spiritual business owners. So tap in to the bunker space. And Friday night, I'm going to specifically talk about the money rituals that I have done in order to heal my relationship with money so that I can get really comfortable with talking about money, with saying things like, I want to be rich. I'm an entrepreneur. You have to pay me. No, I will not do that for free. Business is spiritual, and spirituality can be a business. These are things that previously would have made me cringe because I did not have a good relationship with money, and I was walking around furthering the narrative, this made up narrative that there's something wrong with money. Slips of paper and coins made of earth. So if you're interested in that, if you would like to learn more about the different rituals that I've done, the baths that I've done, the different meditations and journeys that I have taken to connect with the spirit of money and become comfortable with it, then definitely tune into the weekly refuel session inside of the bunker. For those of you who are spiritual entrepreneurs that are struggling, feeling like you maybe are going to give up, worried that the fact that you don't have as many clients, customers, etc., as you, the work you're putting in should be warranting, I want you to please, please, please be at my next webinar, Power of the Pivot. I've taught this webinar in the past, and it is always unbelievable for everybody that is there. Because in this webinar, I am going to help you to shift direction in your business into a more profitable direction. I'm going to show you how you can do that. Do not give up. Before you give up, please, please tune into this webinar. It is completely for free. If you learn nothing, you lose nothing, but I know you will. At the end of the webinar, I also take questions. So you'll have an opportunity to talk to me about specific things going on in your business that you're curious about. But we're going to talk about how you can identify the areas that you should pivot into, because you're on the right track. You're just probably going down a road to your destination that has too many obstacles in it or too many challenges in the way, and you're lacking the knowledge to get around them, or the realization that you could shift into a different avenue and still get to the same destination. I have pivoted my business several times. When I realized that, every time it has been the right thing to do. This last time that I pivoted my business and I got rid of all in-person retail at BronxWitch HeadQuarters, I had my highest sales month ever. And then the month after that was the second highest sales month ever. And I was putting that off for the longest time because I was afraid to let go of retail in my space. And it has freed me in so many ways I can't even tell you. So don't give up. There is a way to do things differently so you can still reach your destination in a way that is more profitable. So if you want to tune into that webinar, totally free. If you're on Instagram, you can comment the word pivot and the link will be sent right to you. If you're on YouTube, I dropped the link in the chat. Just scroll up in the chat and click the link and register. And you always have automatic access to the replay if you're not able to tune in next week on the 18th, I think at 10 p.m. All right. Does all of that make sense, y'all? The message on that card says, keep going, be unstoppable. Do not let lack of education or your trauma wounds with money and with figuring things out stop you from putting yourself in a position where your spiritual work can be your full-time work. We need you. The world needs you to keep showing up. And doing so should not be an act of charity. So let's see what message Spirit has for us and what we should talk about next week. What we should talk about next week. Shannon says, registered. Thank you for providing this opportunity for free to all of us. Thank you, my love. Thank you for taking advantage of it. Thank you for taking advantage of it. Okay. Calling in our guides, guardians, angels, ancestors, and spirits. Asking for guidance. What message would best serve this community, the collective? For next week, what should we gather to talk about? Yes. I very much want to talk about this. I was just talking about this with somebody. The message for next week is step up. Step up. Do not be the best kept secret in your niche. Boost your visibility. Okay, step out of obscurity, step out of the shadows and into the spotlight. to attract your ideal clients. I was just talking about this with one of my clients, one of my enrollees in my 6-month to 6 figures program. She is building her hypnosis business and wants to know how to market herself and how to overcome the fear of visibility. And I actually was talking about this with someone else even before her, because SZA recently was doing an interview talking about how she hates being famous, how she hates being perceived. She loves having one-on-one interaction with her audience, but she does not actually really enjoy being in the spotlight. And I think that's quite common among spiritual practitioners. We sometimes struggle with that. We do really well in our one-on-ones. We do really well making our products, but putting ourselves out there as the face of our business can make some of us very nervous. And that is something that we have to work to overcome, because if nobody knows who you are, nobody knows what you do, they don't know how you can help. And they don't know that you're the one that can help them. Okay, so we do have to do some work on that, uncovering what it is that makes us uncomfortable about being perceived. All right, so we're going to talk about that next week. Stepping up, stepping into the spotlight and increasing your visibility. Okay, because I definitely have some tips on how you can do that in a way that feels authentic. I talk a lot about, like, you do not have to do TikTok dances. We might not even have TikTok after next week, but you do not have to do TikTok dances. You don't have to do trending videos. You don't have to become a content creator in order to be visible. Okay. You have to be clear about who your ideal clients are and clear about how you solve their problem. And you need to make sure that they know who you are. That if they have that problem, even if they decide not to come to you, that they know that that's what you do. Okay, so I'm looking forward to it. Step up. A final reminder for my witchpreneurs that are struggling, that are considering giving up, please, 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 before you do that, tune in to my next free webinar next week, Power of the Pivot. I am going to show you how you can pivot your focus in your business into prosperity. Okay, there are other avenues that you have not yet considered that you can put into place. And this webinar is only for my serious entrepreneurs, for real. Okay, I have a webinar called 7 Pillars of a Profitable Spiritual Business for people that are not there yet, maybe just starting their businesses or not even sure if spiritual entrepreneurship is for you. You can take that webinar. But if you have already begun, you are trying your best and you're just not seeing results, this webinar is for you. It's completely free. It's going down live next week, and the replay will be available if you can't miss it, but you have to be registered to get the replay. So if you're on Instagram, comment pivot. If you are on YouTube, click the link and register. All right. For those of you that are looking for community, the virtual private group that I have is called The Bunker. The Bunker is the stronghold for entrepreneurs that are looking to get stronger, build their network, build their connections, find other people that they can barter services with, learn from, connect with. We meet every week at 10 p.m. for something called the weekly refuel session to celebrate our wins and power ourselves up into the next week. And this week, I'm going to be continuing on with this topic of conquering and overcoming challenges, but I'm going to be focusing specifically on how I have overcome my challenge and my aversion to making money. I'm going to be sharing some of the rituals and spiritual baths that I created in order to heal my money wound, heal my relationship with money, so that I could get comfortable with the idea of making money in exchange for the spiritual work that I do in the first place. So that's what we're going to be talking about in the weekly refill session. If that appeals to you, click the link in my bio or comment bunker anywhere on this page, and you'll get the link to join us. 7 days free. So you can come in, poke around, drop a note, say hello, see how you like it. And if it's not for you, you can peace out. No hard feelings. Okay? Does anybody have any questions about how to access the webinar or how to join the bunker? I'm going to make sure, even if it's not for you, that you know how to do it in case you decide that you want to give either of these opportunities a try. Let me know if you have any questions. Tuesday for me is an errand day, but it's raining. So I think we're going to order in, Instacart it. And then Tuesday evening is content day for me. So I'm going to be doing some filming and all of that good stuff. So whatever you are doing with your Tuesday, I pray that it is absolutely beautiful and blessed. Thank you all for tuning in. I pray that you all got a word, and I will see you back here next week, Tuesday at 10 a.m. for Tuesday Tips Live for Witchpreneurs. All right, witches, have a beautiful rest of the day. Bye. Oh, yes. See you in the webinar, Witch Lantern. Hey, Cecilia. Hey, Jen. Blessed be, witches. Pew, pew, pew.